Welcome to today's MJ News Digest, December 28, 2020. Hope you had happy holidays. Here are today's headlines. Neverland Sold. MJ, the greatest singer of all time. New Jackson baby on the way. MJ's secret Home Alone tape. And Michael Jackson Christmas music box. So, the first story, of course, we've all been talking about this. Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch has sold. And some of the fans got quite in a tiz about this. So this news story is from Deadline. We'll go through this news story first, and then we'll look at some of the fan reactions. So billionaire businessman Ron Burkle is the new owner of Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch. Burkle, a one-time associate of Jackson and co-founder of the USAPA Company's investment firm, purchased the 2,700-acre property in Los Olivos near Santa Barbara for $22 million, according to the Wall Street Journal. It was first listed in 2016 for $100 million. It was then taken off the market, and Jackson originally paid about $19.5 million for the ranch in 1987. Named for the fantasy world in J.M. Barrie's Peter Pan, the property includes about 22 structures, including a 12,000 square foot Normandy-style mansion, several guest houses, etc., etc. We are very well acquainted with Neverland, thank you. A spokesman for Burkle tells Wall Street Journal that Burkle views the property as a land banking opportunity. The spokesman told the publication Burkle had been considering Zaka Lake, which adjoins the ranch, for a new retreat location for Soho House, which is a private club company he co-owns. But ultimately he decided the location was too remote. He saw Jackson's former ranch from the air and put in an offer to buy it. It had been taken off the market and was not publicly listed at the time. Burkle advised Jackson on business matters in the mid-2000s. So let's see what some of the comments are on this story. Santina says, I want to visit the home. I'm not going to read that anonymous comment. Someone else says, wonder what he does with the property. It was a magical place in the 90s. Mikey says, rest in peace, King MJ. And Obama, I wonder if it's the Obama, says, stop talking about it now. So let's head over to Twitter and just have a look at one of the Twitter threads. There was thousands of Twitter threads about this. As I said, the fans were quite emotional, and some of the fans seem to think that they own Neverland or they own Michael. It's very bizarre. But this one comes from Santi Pekowski. Says, Neverland being sold, I do prefer it to be in the hands of Ron Burkle, who at least knew Michael instead of any other. It's kind of sad, but Michael was Neverland. Without him and his belongings, it's just a house. It's not a home anymore. I think we should all say goodbye to it. Oh dear. Let's see what the responses were to this. Someone says, oh no bro, are you suggesting that we leave Neverland? I do agree with the sentiment though. Neverland is not a home anymore, it's just a house. Horrible people ruined that for everyone. Wishful thinking, but it'd be incredible if Burkle exploited it as a memorial. I can't see that happening at all. What else have we got here? Someone agrees with the original post. There's quite a few heartbroken emojis here. Someone says, I don't want to. I guess they don't want to give it up. Change is hard. Someone else says, this is sad. It breaks my heart. I don't like this post, but let's all just cherish the memory and close that book. and someone replies, well, I did that on June 25th, 2009. So as I said, lots of heartbroken emojis and tearful emojis, and fans were very emotional about this. But let's just go back to the original tweet. And kind of unpack that a little bit and just delve a little bit deeper. And controversially, I kind of agree with Pearl Jr. I can't believe I'm saying this regarding her sentiments. But anyway, so it says here, it's kind of sad, but Michael was Neverland. Without him and his belongings, it's just a house. Michael wasn't Neverland. Neverland was a big part of Michael Jackson for a period in time. Neverland was kind of imbued with Michael's spirit, with his passion. It was his home to both him and his family, and it delighted thousands of underprivileged children. That was, I guess, one of the main reasons for Neverland. But as I said, it says here, I think we should all say goodbye to it. I completely disagree. Neverland was an important part of Michael's history. Neverland was a point in time for Michael and Michael's legacy. I think we should all remember Neverland and continue to enjoy the stories of the thousands of underprivileged children that enjoyed Neverland and the people that have visited it. Yeah, it's a shame that it's been sold, but Neverland will always be part of Michael's history. So our next bit of news is again from Twitter. This is a tweet from Morad Masalti. Michael Jackson tops the list of the best singers of all time according to Consequence of Sound. So this is the 100 greatest 100 greatest singers of all time, and yes, Michael Jackson is number one. I didn't find this on any other news source. It was just on Twitter, so I wondered where this had come from. But just kind of looking at this tweet, I mean, it got a bit of traction. There was over 353 likes. We've got 89 retweets and quite a few replies. So where did this story originally come from? As I said, I didn't see any news source for this, but went to Google, my best friend. And here we go, Consequence of Sound, the 100 greatest singers of all time. But this article was actually from 2016, but nevertheless it's a really good article. So I thought it'd be good to share with you here. So the 100 greatest singers of all time, these are the voices that continue to inspire, console and empower us. And there's some great kind of like cover art here with Michael right in the centre, but right at the start of the article there is a disclaimer, editor's note. This list was originally published 2016 prior to the latest round of allegations levied against Michael Jackson. Very disappointing with that disclaimer, but the article is good. I'm just going to take a drink of coffee and then I will read the rest of the article. Let's look at the top 10. Okay, so number 10, Bjork. Number 9, Robert Plant. Number 8, the amazing Amy Winehouse. Good to see her in the top 10. Of course she should be. Number 7, Roy Orbison. Number 6, absolutely Whitney Houston. She should have been higher than that. 5, James Brown. 4, Aretha Franklin. 3, Freddie Mercury. So Michael's in great company. Number 2, Billie Holiday. Wow. And number 1, the greatest singer of all time. Wow, is Michael Jackson. So I'm going to read this. This is pretty cool. Have you watched Michael Jackson's Moonwalker? Odds are, if you were born between 75 and 85, the VHS tape sat somewhere next to your equally worn copies of Back to the Future, E.T. and Star Wars. Now, I know you know that I absolutely adore Moonwalker. My favourite film of all time. I see it about once a month. Anyway, it says here, if you haven't seen it, do yourself a favour and find it somewhere on YouTube, as it's worth a watch, if only for the captivating videos and the way it more or less bottles up the timeless magic and appeal of the King of Pop. The reason I'm bringing it up now is specifically for its opening segment, which captures Jackson singing Man in the Mirror during his colossal bad tour across Europe. For a good 3 or 4 minutes, you can watch everyone lose their shit as he triumphantly lifts up their spirits with arguably one of the greatest songs ever. But look closer, it's people of all nationalities, united and feeling it together. That was the ultimate power of Michael Jackson. He had the ability of stopping everyone in their tracks, both in life and death. And some might credit this to his unprecedented dance moves, and they'd be right. Some might say it was his masterful production, and they'd be right. And some might point to the archive of hooks that fueled each of his songs, and they'd be right. And some might say it was his voice, and they would be right. He was the full package in a way we haven't and probably never will see again. The greatest performer who ever lived. So yes, you could sit here and make arguments for any of the multifaceted reasons behind his undying legend, but really it starts and ends with his voice. It's his voice that connected the world together, and it's his voice that never wavered as he slid into every kind of genre imaginable, from disco to rock to pop to hip-hop to R&B. And what's more, it's his voice that keeps on giving. Name any groundbreaking artist of the last 30 years and they'll all point to him as a major influence. Whether it's his work fronting the Jackson 5, his salad days in Motown, or the decade and a half he turned his music into both a lifestyle and a brand, it doesn't matter. It's all in regular rotation. Even now, after the dark and disturbing controversies that have surfaced over the last 2 decades, he remains an unstoppable, influential enigma. Great article. So it ends with a quote from Chance the Rapper. I'm not going to read that, but you can read that for yourself. I will link this great article in the description in the description below. So yes, Michael Jackson voted the greatest singer of all time in 2016. Really cool, amazing. Our next story comes from the MJCast. Have you heard their new podcast? It's their, at the time of recording, it's their Christmas special. I know they've got a end of the year one coming. So this is the season 6 Christmas special, where it was revealed that Taj Jackson and his wife Liana are expecting their second baby. Baby number 2 is on the way. And when this was kind of like announced on Twitter, there was a bit of drama with Latoya, but I'm not going to get into that now. Let's go back to this tweet. So as I said, this is from the MJCast. The podcast includes obviously Taj Jackson, Charles Thompson or Charlie Thompson, Q and Jamin. So they wrap up season 6. Taj reveals that him and his wife are expecting baby number 2, and loads of MJ news, and also kind of a year in review. So I will be linking this podcast or this tweet in the description so you can listen to the podcast yourself. There are plenty of links here, whether you like to listen to podcasts on Apple or Spotify or directly from the MJCast.com websites. Our next story is also pretty cool. So this is from Complex. This is an interview with Buzz from Home Alone. Now, I reference this because obviously this time of year, a lot of people watch the Home Alone films. Home Alone is one of the greatest Christmas movies of all time. This year, I watched Home Alone 2 for the first time. I'd never seen it before. And this article references this, although I didn't actually end up getting to watch much of the movie, but that's another story. So let's have a look at this article. This talks about when Michael Jackson visited the set of Home Alone 2. And yes, there's some video as well. Let's scroll down. So the guy's name is Devon Rattray, I believe. There he is as an older gentleman. Here we go. So they ask him, what's your favourite story from the Home Alone era? And he says, it was when Michael Jackson came to visit the set of Home Alone 2. That was a pretty memorable day. He says it was a Saturday rehearsal. We were just rehearsing a small scene. It was us running out of the house, getting into our vans. When I got out of the transport van, Macaulay came up to me and said, "Come here, I want you to meet somebody." He wouldn't tell me who, but he was very excited. I followed him into the back of one of the prop airport vans that was there, and in the back seat of the van was Michael Jackson, long grey overcoat, grey fedora and sunglasses. 7 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday in February in the middle of Illinois. I didn't know what to do or say, but suddenly I'm shaking Michael Jackson's hand without the glove. What do I say? I said, "Hi, I'm Devin and I play Buzz," and he said, "I know, it's a real pleasure to meet you." And I just stood there and said, "Yes, Michael Jackson, it's a real pleasure to meet me." That kind of made him smile, and I was able to make him laugh and brought his guard down a little. The only thing I thought to say was I brought my video camera with me. I was making my own sort of documentary behind the scenes with this big VHS 92 video camera, and I just said out loud, "Hey, do you think I could interview you later on camera?" He said as long as Macaulay was there. So later, while we were waiting to do another rehearsal, running out of the house, Michael comes into the house to use the bathroom. Macaulay said it would be a good time to ask him some questions, so I asked him some questions on camera, and I've had that tape for like 20 years. I've never showed it to anybody. And they ask him, "Are you going to keep that for yourself, or are you going to make that more public?" And he says, "Well, I was keeping it mostly for myself. It wasn't until Michael passed away that Entertainment Tonight contacted me. They'd heard rumours of me having this tape, and I thought now would be a good time to pay tribute to him. I didn't want to profit from it. I didn't accept any money or anything. I just thought it'd be a good time for a tribute because nobody had seen it before. It was my piece of history and my connection with Michael." So went over onto YouTube. I don't think I've actually seen this video before, but here we go. This is the Entertainment Tonight exclusive Michael Jackson and Macaulay Culkin on the Home Alone 2 set from Devon Rattray. I'll play a little bit of this now, link the full video in the description, but beware the full video does include Diane Diamond.
We've had quite an extensive relationship. Is this true?
Yes,
I mean,
we've known each other for around 4 years now.
4 years?
4 or 5 years.
How did you guys meet?
We met, what was it? Lincoln Center.
Lincoln Center?
He was in the Nutcracker.
You were in the Nutcracker?
Great dancer. Matt's a great dancer.
Yeah.
And onto our YouTube recommendation of the day from SAKMG. You've earned a subscriber. This is Michael Jackson Music Box Lullaby HQ Audio. This is perfect for this time of year. You can use this to help you go to sleep, or you can put it on in the background, or you can just sit and watch this lovely, snowy, festive scene imbued with Michael Jackson's hits, but kind of played as a lullaby. It's really relaxing, something a little bit different, and something I hope you'll enjoy. And that's it for today's MJ News Digest. Thank you so much for watching and listening. I really appreciate it. Please like, comment and subscribe because the best is yet to come.